Osmosis Jones is a Warner Brothers animation and live-action film from 2001. Interesting for a kids' film, the animation segments are directed by Tom Cito and Pete Kroon, whereas the live-action bits are handled by the Farley brothers and their studio, Conundrum Entertainment. The titular Osmosis Jones is a white blood cell who lives inside the animated and stylized to resemble a functioning city innards of live-action Frank Detore. But when a virus named Thrax invades and sets a deadly plot in motion, Osmosis must team up with an uptight cold pill named Drix to save the city's populace and Frank's life. Fun trivia, the film was originally conceived to have a PG-13 rating complete with swearing and a higher violence level. Well, higher than what we already got.
Ow.
But the inclusion of the Farley brothers shifted the focus more towards slapstick comedy and gross-out humor. Well, that's fine. I mean, with such an impressive resume of films including Dumb and Dumber, Me, Myself, and Irene, and Hall Pass, there's no way that could have been a poor production decision. Seriously though, I really do like this movie, even the live-action portions, because they are actually important to the story and help drive the themes. And I'm gonna explain how right now. Okay, so here's the gist of my thesis. The story is a discussion of black-white race relations in modern America. No, wait, don't click away. I swear I've got evidence and talking points to back this up. Now, I'm not trying to make some sweeping general claim that this is totally what the writers intended, you guys, but I do think you can read some interesting themes out of the premise and characters, and the way they interact with one another.
So where you from, tough stuff?
I was developed at the University of Chicago, where I graduated Phi Beta capsule.
Great. Got me in college for?
I received my FDA certification in cold and flu studies, as well as a master's in multi-symptom relief. Where did you study?
Study? When you grow up on the wrong side of the digestive tract, you don't got no money for no fancy school.
Oh.
I'm not kidding, man. My high school was crack central.
Oh?
No, it was in the crack. Right in the stankin' fucking city.
I mean, nobody debates the fact that Cats Don't Dance, which was distributed by Warner Brothers Animation, is about racially biased casting practices during Hollywood's golden age, and it's pretty easy to pick out how The Iron Giant, another Warner Brothers Animation production, is an extended discussion about the dangers of Cold War paranoia. Right? Like, Hogarth befriends an alien from a militarized and alternative background. They have to overcome major language barriers, physical and cultural differences, and keep their relationship hidden, but they are helped by someone from the art community. While the alien can indeed be dangerous to Hogarth if proper considerations aren't taken, the true antagonists of the film come from overzealous reactions to the unknown by American paranoid agents and their weapons. But both these films take place in easily identifiable bygone eras, and as such the problems of those time periods are much easier to spot, whereas Osmosis Jones takes place in the modern day. Well, 2001 level modern. Where are all the cell phones? You know what else these films have in common? They're all considered box office failures. It's almost as if the genre of animation doesn't receive proper marketing and exposure campaigns, and is culturally and commercially undervalued. So let's give them some value by discussing how this man is a symbol for modern American society.
Oh, these stairs are killing me, honey. We may have to move.
But Dad, there's only 4 steps.
All right. If you love it here, I'll build a ramp.
Let's establish 2 important assumptions which are going to underscore this analysis. Everyone in this movie functions as the character they are written as, but the animated characters are also representations of the real-life races of their voice actors. Okay? Osmosis Jones, voiced by Chris Rock, literally is a black man living in a white man's world. He comes from a socially disadvantaged background, didn't go to post-secondary, but takes his job seriously and wants to protect Frank. But he's constantly being belittled, undermined, and disrespected by his white boss and the mayor, voiced by the Shat himself. He has power constantly stripped from him and only succeeds when he rejects playing by the corrupt system's rules and forges his own path. Not that Frank makes things easy on Ozzy either. Frank is the picture of the lower middle class, works a low-income job, scarfs fast food, doesn't get a lot of respect, but could do much better by himself through effort, but doesn't, and is content to eat and drink himself into an early grave. Not since Wes Anderson has a director taken such delight in depicting Bill Murray as an utterly repulsive and pathetic sad sack.
I hope the roof flies off and I get sucked up into space. You'll be better off without me.
His indulgence and slothfulness all contribute to creating a world which makes Osmosis' life more difficult, all without Frank's knowledge. Meanwhile, the mayor encourages Frank's self-destructive tendencies in order to placate the public and keep his job on top. More than once, the mayor takes literal control of Frank's body, making him do or say things in order to further the mayor's agenda, even though it is not in Frank's best interest. Leah, voiced by Brandy Norwood, has to deal with a double whammy of race and sex-based discrimination. She works in the mayor's office and, like Osmosis, tries to do right by the city, but she never has her work properly acknowledged, and the good work she does do is often deliberately ignored by her employer.
Remember, that friend is a good friend.
What? That's not what I wrote.
She gets catcalled and deals with diminutive epithets, and is often told to do low-impact, feminized tasks like brew coffee and answer the phone.
What is this? Leah, wait! Who's going to answer the phone?
Drix, voiced by David Hay Pierce, in contrast to Osmosis, is educated, well-spoken, and instantly given respect, freedom of movement, and praise by the government of Frank. But a big point of his character concerns recognizing that his power isn't internal to himself and is rather ascribed to him by a system. He's temporary, he doesn't have any real weight to him, and very easily that same system can take his power away. His arc concerns recognizing that what he's been told he is and how special he is by the world is essentially meaningless, and that he must work, notably under Osmosis, to prove himself by his own means. Thrax is the picture of a classic gangster, not motivated by material reward, but by cultivating his reputation and establishing credibility through violence. More specifically, he's looking to become a recognized virus in the medical books by killing people in faster and faster succession. He's obsessed with this goal to the point of taking unnecessary risks and killing his subordinates. He has to have his image recognized by the medical community. The very community which keeps his kind down is the establishment he seeks acknowledgement from. I think it's very telling that Thrax's ultimate and terrifying demise comes not from direct action by the hero, but by a bowl of pure alcohol in the hospital, i.e., Thrax falls directly into the world he sought recognition from, and it instantly kills him without anyone even knowing he was there. And furthermore, how are medical practitioners depicted in this film? Again, entirely by white people. You might not have noticed it, but your brain did. And that's a fair point. Both Osmosis Jones and Cats Don't Dance use stylized non-human characters to symbolize genuine races alternate to white, while white humans stand in for other white humans and take up a lot of visibility in the films. Is that ethically sound? Probably not, but that's why you analyze entertainment media in the first place. There are very few animated children's movies depicting explicitly African American people, and even less of other races, and that type of visibility is a problem when you consider the target audience. But hey, why would the world want to take children's media seriously and dedicate time, funds, and editorial space to it? And thus our plot concludes with Frank living better, the mayor evicted, Osmosis and Drix are heroes given their due rewards, and Leah is romantically receptive to Osmosis now. Hooray! I guess this is another criticism I have with the film. I mean, it's clear that Leah is set up to be Osmosis' love interest, and that she had respect for him all this time. Them getting together in the denouement isn't a problem at all. That's fine. But it feels like there could have been a bigger cap-off to her character. See, Leah gets a decent amount of screen time where they build up a solid motivation for her. She's concerned about Frank's health and wants to maintain good relations with Shane. She has opinions, makes decisions, even if they aren't always respected, and takes independent action to reach her goals. But the big culmination of her character arc is to attempt unsuccessfully to stop Thrax, get kidnapped, rescued by Osmosis, then kiss Osmosis. Credits roll. I don't know. I like to think that if they made this movie today, the film would close out on Osmosis' reinstatement and Leah being elected as mayor. And then they kiss on her podium after she gives him his badge or something. Something like that. Instead, we get this underwhelming payoff with Ron Howard's Tom Klonick winning office, even though he broke the freaking neck of the kid who starred in the campaign ad with him earlier. No, I'm not kidding. There's this snapping sound.
That's the smell of change.
And then later in the film, when they cut to Tom's office, you can see the kid wearing a neck brace. I've watched this movie a lot, okay? To any rate, like I said, this is all just my opinion and personal reading of the film. You're more than welcome to not take it seriously, but I do recommend you check it out, along with these pictures too, because they really are well-directed and animated films, and you could do a heck of a lot worse. If nothing else, you can join me in being sicked out by Thrax's horrible, horrible death scene. Ugh. Next episode, we're looking at The Never-Ending Story, Novel Edition.